Okay, so we are recording. We are live on Facebook. So if to everyone there on Facebook Live, okay, welcome to you. If you are on Facebook, and I think I will ask Kitty to put the registration link into the Facebook comment section. And then if you're on Facebook and you want to come into the Zoom room, you can do that. It's not full, so you can come across. And that way, if you want to get a certificate, you will need to come and register and be in the Zoom room. Okay, so to anyone on Facebook, yeah, come over to the Zoom room. Okay, let me begin. So I'm going to start my screen share. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not a good start. Let's stop that share and try that again. I'm actually going to do a different share. Here we go. Okay, advanced. All right, let's try that again. Okay, here we are. Okay. Sorry, my apologies. Just take me a few seconds to get this right. Okay. There we go. And I think I am ready. So yeah, okay, so welcome everybody to another National Geographic Learning webinar. This is the 28th session in our current professional development series. And in today's model lesson, you'll be learning teaching tips and ideas by taking part in the activities. So this is a grammar lesson, and it is set in the context of giving advice about personal finance. It is designed for an A2 CEFR level, so it's for basically pre-intermediate adult students. My name is Will Lashett. I am the teacher trainer for the Asia region for National Geographic Learning, and I am a local in the UK, as I mentioned earlier, and I am also a local here in Singapore. And if you're wondering why I'm saying I am a local and not I am from, you can keep watching and you'll find out later on. Yeah, so I've been in Singapore for 13 years, and I've been working in English language teaching since 2001. And while we are talking about teaching, I'm going to ask you to do our first poll. Here it is. Okay, so I'm launching the poll. I would like you to answer, please. So yeah, you can, it's multiple choice. You can click on as many that is true for you. So I always just like to find out who we've got with us, what type of teachers we've got, so that I know if what we're talking about is relevant to the majority of you. If you're on Facebook, you can't do the poll, but yeah, you could, if you like, you can type into the chat box, the comment box. Okay, so about half of you have voted so far. Let's give you a few more seconds. See if we can get up to 70%. Okay, we're almost there. 68%, 69, 70. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to end the poll there, okay, and share the results. So yeah, you can see from the results here that the majority of you, 54% teach teens, 31% are teaching university, 33% of you are teaching adults, and 12% very young learners, 33% young learners, 15% are not teachers. So yeah, the majority of you are teaching either teens, university, or adults, and that is basically the segments which would be relevant for the program that we're looking at today called World English. So that's great to see that most of you here, okay, are teaching the correct segment. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that and move on to the next slide. Yes, so I just mentioned, so World English, today's lesson is from Unit 12 in Level 2 of World English, 3rd edition, and it is an A2 CEFR level. In World English, each unit has 5 lessons, A to E, and there is also a unit opener and an optional video lesson. Today we're going to be doing lesson A, which is a vocabulary and grammar lesson. So the unit we're looking at today, it's all about making decisions, okay? And I've got an image up on the screen for you here, and I would like you, please, to type into the chat box for me. Well, first of all, what can you see? What's the image that you can see here on your screen? Right, Amir says to hit a fork in the road. Right, there we go. It is literally a fork in the road. And can anyone explain to us, okay, why have I got this image here? How does it relate to the theme of decisions? Yes, Caroline, it's a fork stuck in the middle of the road. That is right, literally a fork in the road. How does it relate to decisions? I thought someone stabbed the road and broken it. Yeah. Amir says, what route to take? Start something different. Okay, we're getting there, right? Difficulty in making a decision. Yeah, so here, when we talk about reaching a fork in the road, okay, we're really talking, it's a metaphor for making a decision. You know, and what's the context here? Like, yeah, deciding which path to take. What's the context? What type of decision? If we talk about, you know, reaching a fork in the road, are we talking about, you know, what to order for lunch? Like, you know, is it, should I have a vegetable curry or should I have chicken rice? Right, okay, so we've got it here. So yeah, it's a major choice in making a decision. So a fork in the road, it's a metaphor for making a big decision in your life. Okay, very nice, Sheridan. Thank you for that. A major decision, perfect. So this is the unit opener, okay, from the unit decisions. And what can you see here? So we've got a nice image. We can see a fork in the road. That's right, Rudy. Can anyone tell me where this is? See who's got sharp eyes. Where is this fork in the road? Right, two roads. So one road is becoming two. That's right. Can anyone with very sharp eyes, good eyesight, tell me where? Yeah, in a desert. That's right. Does anyone know where the desert is? Nepal. It's not in Nepal. It is the Altiplano in Bolivia. Okay, someone has spotted that. Okay, you can see it there. It's written on the screen. Okay, so he's in Bolivia. Okay, and it looks like he's on an adventure. Okay, cycling across the Altiplano. So yeah, what decision? So he's got to make a decision. So, you know, the decision he's got to make is which way he's going to go. Is he going to go left or right? I'm going to ask you, okay, before we move on into the chat box, can you just type in a decision that you have to make this week? Okay, it doesn't have to be a life-changing decision, just any decision that you have to make this week. Not to go outside. Okay, right. So you've got to decide whether to stay in or go out. Okay, any other decisions you've got to make this week? For me, it is to teach very young learners, right? So maybe you have an option whether to teach them or not. Okay, that's interesting. To attend this seminar or not. Well, you're already here, so you've already made this decision. That's an interesting one, Michael. Very, and you know, good for this time of year. But buying Christmas gifts, okay, it's difficult, isn't it? You know, what should you buy? You know, people, you know, always seem to have everything that they need. So yeah, it's difficult to decide what to buy them, if I should do Christmas shopping or not. To take up all the modules of Delta or 2 in 2021. Well, Amir, yeah, I did the Delta myself. It's a difficult course. So yeah, that's a big decision, you know, how you can spread that out, whether to celebrate Christmas, to buy or not from the 12th of December sale. Okay, very interesting. So, oh, someone's put here, Huang Tran's put buy a ukulele. You know, I was actually considering buying a ukulele as well. One popped up on my Facebook feed. I was wondering if I should buy one, whether I should go running in the winter morning or not. Great. So lots of really interesting ideas here. And we can say that, you know, we can see how this activity, very simple activity like this, it would naturally lead into interesting conversation. And we can engage our students just by asking one simple question. We can get them to think of some ideas, discuss with their partners, discuss with a group, and we can get some really nice, interesting discussion there. We can see down here our unit goals. So we can see as I said, lessons A to E, and we can see our unit goal, lesson goal for lesson A is to give advice about money, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Obviously, making decisions about money is something that we all have to do, and it's a very important and difficult area of decision making that we all have to go through every day. Okay, let's have a look at the next slide. Yes, we're going to do another poll. So basically, there are many ways we can say that there are different types of people, but this is one way we can do it. And I think there are two types of people. And I'm going to say that they are savers. So people who are careful, who are cautious with their money. We can say they like to save money. Nice collocation there. And on the other hand, we've got spenders, right? So spenders are people who like to spend money, or a saver would say a spender is someone who likes to waste money. Okay, so we can try and bring in some nice collocations here: save money, spend money, waste money. We can really get some nice vocabulary going. So I'm going to ask you, what type of person are you? So let's have a look at that second poll. I'm going to launch it, and I'd like you to tell me, please. So just you should see it on your screen. Just choose one. Are you a saver or are you a spender? You can type into the chat box as well if you prefer. Someone's saying 50-50. Sitting on the fence. Okay, 50-50. 12-12 was a scam. Spender, but for my family's sake. Right, very interesting. So Cristobal, so you like to spend money on other people, right? Okay, that's not one that I have, it's not one that I considered here. Okay, great. Let's see. So I think we've got, coming up to that 70% of you have voted. Okay, so this is very interesting. Okay, I said there are two kinds of people. Have a look at this. Have a look at the results here. So we've got almost exactly down the middle. So 51% of you are savers and 49% are spenders. So it really is almost the toss of a coin, right? Almost, yeah, very, very close. And yeah, I find that very interesting. And some of you are actually saying that you are 50-50 as well. You're part saver, part spender. So maybe some of you found it difficult to decide how to answer that question. But yeah, I think that's very interesting. And again, this is something that we could then talk about. If we had more time, if we were in a face-to-face class, or if I put you into breakout rooms, there's something we could discuss. Right? Why are you a saver? Why are you a spender? Why do you define yourself like that? What is it about spending money or saving money that you enjoy? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing the results there. Okay, and get rid of that. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to move into the classroom presentation tool for World English, and we're going to start the lesson. So I'm just going to start a new screen share, and let's go to here, and let's go to. Yeah, okay, so this is the classroom presentation tool for World English. If you're not sure what a classroom presentation tool is, basically it is a digital version of the student book and the workbook. So we have all of the content from the student book, all of the content from the workbook. Everything is interactive. All the exercises are interactive. We have all the audio, all of the video. We have games on here. So it's basically a teaching resource which gives you all of the content that you need for teaching in the classroom or for teaching online. So something very useful for teachers. So we're going to go to Student Book, Unit 12. Here's the unit opener that we just looked at. And if I press to the right here, we can go in and have a look at the lesson. So today's lesson, I said it's a grammar lesson. You can see over here, but the first page is vocabulary. So vocabulary and grammar lesson. And we're going to go through and we're going to do a few of these exercises. So let me zoom in a little bit. so that we have a better view. So I'm just clicking the plus icon at the top right of the screen so that we can, so that you can read it carefully. And we can see that we have a goal, a unit goal up here, sorry, a lesson goal of giving advice about money. You can see here that I've got a little link. If I click that, I can actually go directly into the workbook. So I have access to perhaps the homework, or if I feel I need more practice in the lesson, I can do these activities in the lesson. If I click here on the link, okay, it's going to take me straight back into the correct place in the student book. So you can see it's very easy to navigate to where I want to be. So let's have a look at, there's a short article here, and the purpose of this is to introduce the vocabulary in context. So let's have a look what we got to do. So it says vocabulary, read the article from a student magazine. What advice does the article give? Do you think it's good advice? So we're going to have a look at this together. We're going to talk through it, and then we're going to discuss what some of this language means. So remember, this is for A2 level students, okay, pre-intermediate. So some of these words they definitely wouldn't know. Let's start off with some of these. Sorry, we can see the words in blue. Okay, this is the target language. So it's highlighted there. It's easy for the students to recognize this is the language that they're learning. But there's also some of the other language here, which we will need to explain as well. So let's start off here. So student life, and the title here is managing your money. So this word manage, it's a word that most people will know, or a similar word. This is for adult students, so perhaps they have a job. So what's the noun form there that they will probably be familiar with? Can anyone type into the chat box for me? So we've got him managing, yeah, so management, right? Okay, so they might know, yeah, the management in their company, or they might be familiar with manager, yeah, the word manager, okay? So maybe they've got a line manager or their boss or manager. So a manager or management, they're really about, controlling something, right? So a manager is in charge, they control something. But yeah, this here, managing your money, it has a different meaning. So yeah, I've got some good ideas here. Gay Marie says utilize. Okay, Faye Ramirez says budget, right? So in this sense, managing your money, it's talking about using your money in a good way. Okay, so using something the right way. This is how we manage something. So it's a different meaning, okay, to the meaning of management in a business or in a company. And obviously, the best place to look for explanations like this would be in a dictionary. We could ask students to go in and have a look at the dictionary. So let's go through and just read through it. So it says here, congratulations, you just received your first student loan. Okay, so this word loan is possibly one that a lot of people would not know at this level. So now it's decision time. Okay, decision time, or the time to make a decision. So how are you going to spend it? Okay, so let's just underline here. So we've got how are you going to spend it? Okay, so can anyone type into the chat box for me? The referencing here, what is it referring to? So in the text, okay, what is this it? What is it referring to? Okay, money. It is referring to money, but which one? Yeah, okay, Faye Ramirez says it's the loan, right? So the it here is actually, I can just draw a line here, so it's not very clear. I can draw an arrow, can try. The it is referring to the loan. So we can work out, we can infer from that, we can work out from the context, what is a loan? Well, if we can spend it, it means that it's money. Okay, it is a type of money. And who is it for? We can see it is specifically for students. So it's money which is only for students, right? So this is how I would start off the activity. I don't want them to look at the definitions below. I'll just show you where they are. So we can see here, actually, I have definitions for all of these words, but I don't want you to look at those. I want you to be thinking for yourself, okay, what these words mean. All right, so we know loan is a type of money which is given to students. So let's see, how are you going to spend it? On a new phone, on some cool sneakers? Well, don't. Before you spend a penny of it, make a budget. Okay, and maybe some other words we'd point out here. Okay, this word penny. This is a word that is not very, not as common. Does anyone know what it means? There's another word very similar, beginning with a C. I wonder if anyone knows. Just going down, 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 down. Okay, yeah, coin, a cent. That's right. So a penny basically means 1 cent. So there are 100 cents in a dollar, and in the UK we have 100 pennies or 100 pence. Okay, in a pound. So it basically means one cent. Okay, so before you spend any of it, even 1 cent, you should make a budget. Okay, so make a budget. Okay, so this is suggesting that we make some kind of plan on how we're going to spend our money. So compare the amount of your loan, okay, the amount, that's another clue to the meaning of loan, with your expenses. So that is another word, okay, which is difficult. A lot of people won't know it, but it's basically defined for us here. So you're comparing the money, the amount of the money, with your expenses. Now the word expenses, we can see in the middle, P-E-N, okay, looks similar to this word spend, right? So we can, we can think, well, perhaps these two words are linked. And next we've got the words rent, transportation, and food. So what can we work out from looking at these two ideas? It's similar to spend. It means rent, transportation, food. So the word expenses, okay, what does it mean? Can you help me? Can you type into the chat box for me? Yeah, exactly. So Tui Pam says it is money that we spend. Okay, money that we spend on what? Money that we spend on things like rent, transportation, and food. So we could also call them living expenses, right? Yes, necessities, right? Living expenses, yeah? So things that we need to spend money on. So this is what budgeting is. Budgeting means you look at how much money you have available, and then you compare that with how much money you think you're going to spend every month. I think this is something very useful, particularly for students. Okay, when I was a student, I didn't budget my money. I just spent my money until I didn't have any left. And then I would have to wait until the next month when I had some money. So yeah, I think this is a very useful article. A lot of people actually are not very good at managing their expenses. And this is something we can get students to talk about. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of this, okay, but you get the idea that we want to kind of elicit from our students. We want to get them to think about it before we show them what the words mean. We want to see if they can predict, if they can guess, if they can work out from the context. Words which are important to words which are commonly confused. This one here, it says, if you don't have enough money, maybe you can borrow some. Okay, so this word borrow, yeah, we'll just do this one. If you can type into the chat box for me. So this word borrow, does it mean give money or does it mean take money? Yeah, so it means take, right? And so someone's put in their lend. Okay, so it doesn't mean lend. So borrow means to take money and then later to give it back. Okay, so that's borrow. So borrow is to receive, to bring in. The opposite of that we can see down here is the word lend. Okay, so lend always means to give. Okay, to give money and later, hopefully, that you receive that back. But borrow and lend are opposites. Okay, they are not synonyms, and they're words which are very commonly misused. Okay, people often say things like, can you borrow me some money? Okay, which is wrong, because it has to be, can you lend me? Okay, or can I borrow? Right. So yeah, again, worthwhile pointing out these things to our students. Okay, well, quickly, let's just read through it. I'm not going to go through the vocabulary, but we'll just quickly read through. If you borrow money from a bank, you pay interest. So if possible, ask a friend or family member to lend you the money. So it's suggesting to avoid interest, to avoid paying extra money to the bank, we can borrow from friends or family. Or a lot of students have part-time jobs to earn some money. And if you are a student, you don't pay much in taxes. Okay, so you don't have to pay the government much of the money that you earn. With the income from the job, try to save some of your money, extra money, for later in the year. Okay, great. So we've had a quick read through this. I'm just going to ask you in the chat box, is there anything here, anything in that short article that you think is good advice? So anything there that you think you feel is good advice? Can you type into the chat box for me? Make a budget. Save money. Great. Okay, make a budget, save money. Good. Not to borrow from the bank. Okay, right, interesting. Get a part-time job, save money. Perfect. So yeah, so we've got lots of good advice. Anything here that you think is not very good advice? Is there anything that you disagree with? That you think is not good advice for a student? Right, Dave says, borrow more. Okay, so we don't want to borrow more than is necessary, right? Because then we're getting ourselves into debt. Someone put cool sneakers, right? Yeah, so perhaps we need to distinguish between the things that we need and the things that we want. Okay, our needs and our wants. We don't want to waste money on things that we don't need. Okay, spending beyond our means, right? Hildebrand, yeah. So we don't want to spend beyond our means, right? Great. Again, so you've come up with lots of nice, nice ideas, and I think these are really important topics. Okay, and something that is great to discuss, and it's something relevant to all of us because all of us have to use money. Okay, we all use it, and we all have to learn how to use it wisely. And to be honest, a lot of people are not very good at it. Yeah, so I feel that this is a very useful activity for our students. Spend according to your salary, right? Yes, live within your means. Perfect. Okay, let's go down and have a look at the activity here. So just to show you what it looks like. So here are the definitions. Obviously, the way the students would do this, they would look at this, they use the context to work out the meaning. I'm just going to show you another way we can do it. So actually as an interactive activity. So we've got the kind of definition of the word here, and then I've got these words up here, which I can drag and drop. So let's just do a couple of these just to give you the example. So number one, it says money that students borrow to help pay for college. Okay, money that students borrow to help pay for college. Which word is it? Canessa has got it. It is a student loan. There we go. So money specifically for students to help pay for their college degree. How about number two? Money you receive from work. So after you work, if you have a job, you do some work and then you get some money. Which word is that? It is your income. Great. Okay, so I'm going to put that here. Okay, let's do one more. The money that you spend is your expenses. That's right. Okay, here we go. Expenses. This is probably a word that we would have to explain in a bit of detail. Is there another word that you can think of that students might be confused about? So expenses, it sounds similar to another word, doesn't it? It sounds similar to an adjective. So it sounds similar to expensive, right? Okay, so so we'd have to explain the difference. So expensive means something that costs a lot of money, but expenses, okay, it was a noun, it's a plural noun, and it means that you're talking about all the money that you spend. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the things, your expenses, are expensive. Okay, it's just referring to all of that money that you have to spend. So looking at these words which are similar, okay, and explaining the kind of subtle differences, that's something that's really going to help your students. So we're not going to do all of these words. Okay, let's just click on them. So we can see after we've put the word in, I can click here on the little I, and it will tell me that it's correct. So I've got a nice tick there, and we can see that we've got these three right. If I want to just do it quickly, if the students have already done it by themselves, I can just click show answers, and all of the answers pop up here, and then my students could then check that they've got the right answers. Great. Okay, so that's that one activity there. So we're going to move on to the next activity, one which I think is really interesting. It's the My World. So this here, My World section, as you can assume from the title, it's getting students to personalize and to actually relate what they're learning to their own life. So the task here is to make a list of all your monthly expenses. So everything you spend, you can write it down. So if we're in the classroom, that's what I do. I get my students to make their list on their own and then to compare with another partner. We've got a nice table here that they can use, things that they need. So once they've got their list, they can categorize, right? So this is a bit of critical thinking. do they need these things, or are these things optional? Is it a need or is it a want? So that's what we're going to do now. So I'm just going to do a new screen share, and we're going to pop over to my OneNote. So now we are in OneNote, and you can probably see my horrible handwriting up there. My handwriting is beautiful. No, it isn't. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, I would like you to take your annotate tool. So you should be able to see in your toolbar, your Zoom toolbar, that you have a pen icon or pencil icon that says annotate. If you click on that, you can select draw and the wavy line, and then you will be able to write something. So I would like you to write, okay, thank you, Andrew. I would like you to write on here, add anything. So things, your expenses, things you spend money on, and on the left, if you think it's something we really need. So I'm going to write one here. I can use this pen here. I'm going to write food. Okay, so food is something that we need, right? So yeah, can you add a few things for me if you can find that that annotate tool? Let's just have a few ideas. So we got on the left things that we need, on the right things that we want perhaps, but things which are optional, things that we don't really need. Andrew's written here movie tickets. Okay, very nice. Rudy's saying, okay, you can't see the annotate tools. Okay, all right. So it looks like we don't have the annotate tools on. Okay, so yeah, we can do it this way, right? So Andrew's put on the left need beer with a question mark. So interesting. Is that something that we need, or is it something that we want? I think that would be an interesting discussion. We got some ideas in the chat box here. Need face mask, COVID vaccine. Okay, face shield. We need shelter, so we need accommodation. We need a place to live. Okay, we need clothes. Okay, there we go. We need chocolates. Mara says we need chocolates. Okay, very interesting. Okay, and Andrew's typing that. Thank you, Andrew, for adding those in for me. Okay, so we've got lots of nice ideas coming in here. We need a mask, we need hand sanitizer, we need fruit. Okay, interesting. We need love. Okay, well, Melcher, love, I think generally not something that we buy, right? Okay, so yeah, we do need it, but not related to our finance. We need vitamins. We need to pay the bills, says Arlene. We need Wi-Fi, says Rudy. Air conditioning. Yeah, see, Wi-Fi, it's interesting. That's not something that we would have said 20 years ago, right? We need an internet connection. That's right, and we do need it. Yeah. Okay, so lots of great ideas. We need money to pay the bills. Okay. So I'm going to clear. Okay, I'm going to clear the annotations. Oh, actually, let's have a look. So there's some going on the right here. So beach trip, holiday. Okay, so these are things which are perhaps optional. And what I really like about this activity is that often students are going to disagree about things. So, you know, whereas one person has said that perhaps I don't know, like beer. Yeah, beer is necessary. Okay, other students are going to say, well, it's not. You know, I don't drink beer at all. For me, it's completely unnecessary. It's a waste of money. So we're giving students that opportunity to discuss. I'm going to clear the annotations, and I'm going to move the screen up a little bit. Here, so what I've done here is I've taken some ideas and I've put 3 columns. So we've got needs, we've got wants, okay, optional, and we've got a column which is not for me. And what I wanted to do, which unfortunately we can't do, which is a little bit upsetting, I wanted you to use the annotate tool to do a stamp and tell me whether you felt it was a need or a want. So what we'll do instead, if we have a look here, let's pick one. So we'll pick public transport. Okay, so in the chat box for me, for public transport, do you think that it is necessary? Is it a need or is it a want? So just type in need or want, okay, for public transport. Okay, so most of you are putting need, and a couple of you are putting optional. It's a want, okay, but I'd say the majority are putting here that it's something necessary, right? Let's try another one. So how about car? Okay, so car, is that a need or a want? Okay, now, yeah, so a lot of you are putting want here for a car. Yeah, and that's something for me. As I mentioned earlier, I live in Singapore, and I think Singapore is the most expensive country in the world to buy a car. So basically, to buy a car here, the car will cost you about 60,000 Singapore dollars, which is about 40,000 US dollars. But to have the right to drive it, you have to buy something they call the certificate of entitlement. So you have to pay for a certificate from the government, which is another $60,000, another 40,000 US dollars. So that is something that I would want to have. But being from a country, from the UK, where cars are cheap, it's something that I feel I don't need, especially when public transport is so good here. So for me, having a car is definitely a want, not a need. But for my parents living in the UK, they live in a village, right out in the countryside. Um, there is a bus, but the bus only goes like twice a day. So that bus twice a day, right? So for them, they need to have a car. It's impossible for them to get to the supermarket, for example, to get their shopping. So they need to have a car. So a lot of these things, we can discuss, and people will have different opinions. Dave is saying public transport in the Philippines is the worst, so a car is a need. There we go. So your need, Dave, the reason you need a car is perhaps different to my parents. So my parents, the public transport, it works, but it's not frequent enough. Okay, it's just not common, right? So just have a look down at that list. I'd like you to type into the chat box for me now. Which of these things do you consider a want? Okay, so out of that long list: makeup, toiletries, alcoholic drinks, restaurants, which one is a want? So Mara says makeup, Juliet says makeup. So interesting. So we've got two ladies there saying that makeup is a want, not a need. Okay, that's interesting to me. Alcoholic drinks, right? So that's a want, it's not a need. We don't need to buy them, right? Takeaway coffee, again, an interesting one, because I'm sure that some people, Canessa, will disagree with you there. I'm sure that some people will class takeaway coffee as a need, because a lot of people really feel that they need it. Okay, that they need that in the morning to get them going, to wake them up. Jewelry, right? Jewelry is a want. Okay. Restaurant. Okay, going to restaurants. We don't need to do it. We want to do it. Okay, very nice. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for participating there. Yeah, Andrew's put in here, yes, we need takeaway coffee if we're addicted to coffee. Starbucks, right? Starbucks, it's expensive, but a lot of people would say that they need it. Okay, yeah, so I hope you can see from this activity, okay, that we can really get a lot of interesting discussion. We can really get students involved with it. I'm sorry that the annotate function didn't work. That would have been more fun if you'd all clicked in there and we could have really seen exactly what you all felt. But unfortunately, I think with the webinar, I forgot with the webinar rather than the meeting, it's difficult to use the annotate. Okay, so I'm now going to go back. I'm going to stop sharing, do a new share, and we're going to go back into the World English CPT, and we're going to have a quick look at the grammar. All right, here we go. So moving on, okay, to the second part of the lesson, okay, the grammar lesson. We've got the same thing up here. We can see that if I click on the link there, I can actually go to the back of the book, Unit 12, Lesson A, and I've got the grammar, a more detailed explanation, and there are also exercises which are also interactive. We're going to go back into the student book, and we're going to zoom in, and we'll have a look at the grammar. So the grammar we're looking at today is using a real conditional. We also call this the zero conditional, and we can see in the grammar box we've broken this down into two sections. So we've got at the beginning, we've got the if clause. Okay, so the if clause, we can also think of this kind of as the cause, right? Okay, so this is the first action, this is the cause, and the main clause is the effect. Okay, it's what is the result. So we've got a condition and a result. We can also see here that we've got, it tells us which tense to use. So we've got here, we've got the simple present tense, if you borrow. Let's just quickly talk about that simple present tense. So we've got if you borrow money from a bank. If I change this to he, okay, how would I change borrow? So I was going to say if you borrow. If I said if he, okay, what would I do to the verb borrow here? Yeah, so we're going to add an S. Okay, so we need to point out to the students that the present simple tense, remember the third person singular, we need to add that S. The reason I'm mentioning this is because we've also got over here the imperative, okay? So the imperative form is one that we usually give for instructions, okay, or for orders, but also for advice. And to make the imperative, it looks like, here, it looks the same as the simple present tense, but it's not. Can anyone tell me why is it not the same as the simple present tense? So the imperative is actually made of a different grammatical structure. It's not simple present tense. It's actually something else. Can anyone type into the chat box for me? Right, so there's no subject. That's right, no subject needed. It doesn't use an S, Jemima. Why does it not use an S? Because it is the right, it's the infinitive, right? It's the bare infinitive, or we can call it the base form of the verb. It's an infinitive. So it means it's the verb without any ending on it. So we just need to highlight that, okay? Because if we change this to he, okay, this will have an S, okay? If he borrows, if she receives, okay, he pays interest. But for this one, the imperative, we don't change it. Dave's asking what other kind of conditionals. I mean, there are many kinds, Dave. Very briefly, there's zero conditional, first, second, third, but there's also several kinds of mixed conditionals, and they all use different tenses, and they all have different purposes, different functions. Yeah, if I were, okay, so if I were is the second, okay, that's the second conditional. It's to talk about something hypothetical, okay, to show that something is unreal. Okay, so whereas here we're looking at a real conditional, if I were is an unreal conditional, it's the second conditional. Okay, so let's have a look. We've in the grammar box, it tells us why do we use the zero conditional. So two reasons. First, we're going to use it to talk about facts, okay, facts or something that is usually true. Okay, so let me highlight this here. And secondly, we're going to use it to give instructions or give advice. Okay, so we're going to now have a look at this activity, and we're going to I'm going to get you to tell me if they're facts or if they are advice. Before we do that, there's one more thing I want to mention, and it's this: the use of the word you. So here it says, if you borrow money from a bank, you pay interest. So my question to you is, who is this you referring to? If you borrow money from a bank, you pay interest. Right, and Amir is right. This is talking about people in general. It's talking about everyone, okay? So here we're using the word you with a general meaning. It's not specific in this case, right? Because it's always true, right? The royal you, okay, right? So it's the general meaning of you. If I'm talking to someone specifically, okay, I'm more likely to use the first condition, okay? If you borrow that money from a bank, you will have to pay interest. You will pay interest. So if I'm talking specifically to someone, we're much more likely to use the first conditional. You will. If I'm just talking generally, this is generally true. It's a generalism. We're going to use you to mean everybody. Okay, so I think that is important to point out. Okay, let's have a quick look at the exercise here. So it got here, if you get a job, okay, if you get a job, I'd like you to pick, so A, B, C, D, or E, okay, if you get a job. E, okay, everyone's saying E. Okay, so I think with this one, I'm going to have to type it in. If you get a job, you get money. So I'm going to type it in, you get money. Okay, and let's click. It's not correct. Okay, so it's not E. Okay, it looks like it should be, you get money, but yeah, okay, we've got that. Everyone's typing in now C. Okay, so let's get rid of it. Okay, can I get rid of it? Okay, so to get rid of it, I need to reset, okay, and get rid of it. Let's type that in. So if you get a job, you earn money. Okay, so let's try that one. And we can see that is wrong as well. Okay, is it because I forgot the full stop? Let's try one more time. You earn money with a full stop. It says it's still wrong. Okay, why? Why is this still wrong? Okay, I have to type in C. Okay, all right. Okay, so I have to type in C. Can I drag and drop? Really? That makes it okay. So let's try that. C. Okay, you earn money. Okay, full stop. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. So that I have to learn the system. Okay, there we go. I need to be very precise. Okay, I need to type in C, you earn money. Okay, there we go. Interesting that, some of you said to begin with, you get money. And, I think we can say to our students that, yeah, you can say that. Like in real life, you could say, if you get a job, you get money, right? It's fine. But here we have a better option. So earn money is a more accurate word, because earn literally means money you get from a job. So it's more descriptive, it's more accurate. But I think we can tell our students it's okay. Like if you say you get money from your job, it's okay. People do say that. So yeah, nice to point out why things are right or why things are wrong. Okay, so let's see that one, the first one. If you get a job, you earn money. So is it a fact or is it advice? Okay, is it an instruction? Okay, a fact. So let's click on it and we can see this is a fact. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay, if you use a credit card. Okay, so what is the answer? If you use a credit card, which of these options should we go for? You pay interest. Okay, here we go. And I'm going to click on it because I'm too lazy to type it in. You are right, it is A. Okay, if you use a credit card, you pay interest. Actually, interesting, a couple of you are putting B here. If you use a credit card, remember to pay them back. And, I think that it's possible, isn't it? Because when you pay them back, we'd say pay off, right? You have to pay off your credit card. But that's very good advice, right? Because, a lot of people, when they get a credit card, they will just pay the minimum. Okay. And then what they don't realize is that if you just pay that minimum, then, the interest is going to build up and you're going to end up owing them a huge amount of money. And this money is called interest. So, again, we can get into something interesting here, and we can get students to think about, how credit cards work, what they do. The credit card is not free money. It is something that, it's a technique that banks use, okay, to earn money by people not paying them back on time. There we go. So yeah, we can say you pay interest. And this one, is it a fact or is it a instruction? It is a fact. Okay, perfect. Right. Let's try a couple more. So if you bring your lunch, okay, if you bring your lunch, what's the answer here? It's much cheaper. I see a few of you putting in D. Okay, it's much cheaper. Okay, is this a fact or an instruction? It's a fact. Great. Okay, number 4, if you borrow money from friends, okay, which one should we put here? B, remember to pay them back. Okay, this one, is it a fact or an instruction? Okay, now this one is an instruction. And how do we know that this is an instruction? So what's missing? There's a word that is not here at the beginning. There's no subject. Thank you, Echo. Okay, Echo. There's no subject there, okay, which means, okay, that we just go straight into the verb. Okay, it's the infinitive, so this means it's the imperative, okay? There we go. So we know that this must be an instruction. Dave, your friends are not paying you back. I'm sorry to hear that, okay? I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, last one. If you put your card in an ATM, okay, the answer must be you get money, okay? That one, I'm not entirely sure I agree with that one. Okay, I mean, if there's no money in my account, I'm not going to get any money. Or if I'm just checking my balance, I'm not going to get any money. So I'm not sure about that one. Okay, maybe we might want to say if you put your card in an ATM, you can get money, perhaps. Okay, so we might want to modify that one slightly. But this one, obviously, it's got the you there, so this is going to be a fact. Great. So this is the activity, and there's more practice for all of these things in the back of the book. Okay, sorry, not in the back of the book. There's grammar reference in the back of the book, and we have those workbook activities for students to do as well. Exactly. I mean, it's not a fact. If there's no money there, you can't get any money, right? So it's not really a fact. What we can say is that in general, it's usually true. And you notice here, it does say, look, up here, I'm highlighting it. We use the zero conditional to talk about things which are usually true. So I think we can say that usually when people put their card into an ATM machine, they're usually doing that to get money, right? That's the most common reason to put your ATM card in. So it might not be a fact, but it's definitely usually true. And again, I think this is probably why that example is there, because we want to show it's not a fact, but it is usually true. Great. Okay, let's have a look. Let's do a couple of these before doing the final activity, right? Okay, so I need to get this and move this up. Okay, so yeah, the next activity that we'd ask students to do here, okay, is they have to complete sentences on their own, okay, using the grammar. So we're getting them a bit of controlled practice using the grammar. And then we also have a conversation, set as a dialogue between a tourist and a local. And we can go through there. Okay, we can get students to repeat it. We can see there are examples of the target language. If you want to change money, go to the currency exchange. If you go down the street, there's a currency exchange on the right. Students then get to practice the conversation and then get to make their own conversations. So we're giving them a bit of free practice. Okay, now we don't have time to do all these activities today, so we're not going to. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to do the final activity, which is the goal check. So something really nice about World English, if you can remember at the beginning, okay, it's giving, the goal is to give advice about money. And now here we're going to do that. So here, the goal check, this is the activity that's going to check whether we can do it. So students, to do this, what they're going to do is they're going to write down 3 things they want to do with their money, and then we're going to practice giving advice. So we're going to swap over to my Padlet. Can you see the Padlet on your screen at the moment? Not yet. Okay, maybe I need to do a new, no, okay, so I need to do a new share. Let's do a screen share. Okay, can you see it now? Yes, great. Okay, so here we go. Let's copy that. I'm going to put this, I'm going to put the link into, so stop typing for a minute. Okay, here comes the link for my Padlet. So if you click on that, you'll be able to go into the Padlet yourself. And yeah, so I used this a few weeks ago, Padlet. So some of you might have seen it before. So this is a website. There's a free version that you can do exactly what I'm doing with right now. And what I've done, I'm going to use this as a place for us to share some ideas of how we would like to spend our money. Okay, so I've put 2. I put one for my friend. My friend's wife wants him to buy her a Gucci handbag for Christmas. Maybe a problem that some of you can identify with. And I've got another one here. I've just put SM. And what I've done here is I've actually recorded myself. So I'm just going to hit play and just let you listen to it.
I'd like to invest. I don't really know how to go about it, and I'm not sure where I should put my money.
Okay, there we go. So just showing you that to show that there's a different way. Okay, so you can get people to type. You can also get students to record their voice to give them a bit of speaking practice. Okay, and the way that we add ideas here, you can see this pink plus button at the bottom right of the screen. If you click on there, okay, then a box will appear and you can type what you want to do with your money in there. All right, so you can type your idea. So I'm going to ask a couple of you to do that now. So Canessa's put one. So she's put, I want to spend, save, and invest. So I'm going to approve that. Okay, so I'm going to ask a few of you to put an idea in for me. Okay, so I'm either going to approve it or delete it. Okay, so if I see it's if it's one we've already got, or one that I think the grammar is not the way I'd like it, I'm not going to approve it. Okay. Okay, so if I delete your post, okay, please don't be offended. Okay. I'm just going to approve a few of them. Okay, there we go. I like that one. Go on a lavish holiday. I want to buy a cake for my niece for her birthday. Okay. Okay, I'm going to delete it. So remember, you're just writing down what you want to spend your money on. Okay, vacation. So I've already got one for vacation, so I'm going to delete that. Okay, so I think we've got enough. Okay. someone's just put high will. Save money to fund studies. Okay, I like that one. Okay, I'm going to approve it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to stop. Okay, so we've got enough. Okay, I want to buy some Christmas. Invest your money. Okay, so we're not giving advice at the moment. At the moment, we're just saying how you want to spend your money. Online shopping on vacation. Let me approve that one. Okay, there we go. Thank you. Someone said awesome session. That's great. Thank you. Very nice. Okay, so we've got enough. Okay, so please stop. Okay, please stop suggesting ways you want to spend your money. I'll just approve one more. Okay, that's enough. Right, now what I'd like you to do now, I can see Jose's already done it. So have a look at one you think is interesting, and I want you to give some advice using the grammar that we looked at. Okay, so we're going to be using the zero conditional. Okay, so let me give an example. All right, so you don't need to add a new post. Okay, you can just, if you click where it says comment, add comment. Okay, that's where you can write your comment. Okay, so you don't need to start a new post. Let me give you an example. So I did this one earlier. My friend's wife wants him to buy her a Gucci handbag for Christmas. So I'm going to add a comment here. I'm going to put, if he buys a second-hand bag, he saves money. Okay, so if he buys a second-hand bag, he saves money. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to put that as a fact, right? Second-hand is cheaper. Okay, so I'm going to put that is a fact. Okay, perfect. Yeah, if you can't see the other posts, if you refresh the page, Andrew's saying that then you'll be able to see them. Okay, so I just want, let's just see if we've got if anyone's managed to put a comment in for me. Here we go. So Andrew's put, if you buy a desktop computer, it is cheaper than a laptop. There we go. So someone wants to buy a laptop, and Andrew's advice, if you buy a desktop, it's cheaper than a laptop. Perfect. Michelle says, if you buy a second-hand laptop, it is much cheaper. Someone has put here for birthday cake. I want to buy a cake for my niece for her birthday. Andrew's put, if you buy a chocolate cake, you might get fat. Okay, there we go. So some health advice there rather than financial advice. Let's see if we've got any other comments here. Yes, someone has put save money to fund studies. And we can see over on the left, it says, if you save money to study, you invest for your future. Very nice. That is some very nice advice. Okay, we got anything else here? If you shop for a computer, buying online is the cheapest. There we go. If you shop for a computer, buying online is the cheapest. I wonder if anyone gave me some advice for my financial question. And we've got here, you may invest as long as it is secure. Okay, just buy her one for the whole year. Not sure how that relates to to investing on the stock market. And we can see here there's some different grammar being used. So rather than the zero conditional, we've got a modal verb here. You may do something, right?
I'd like to.
Okay, let me stop there. Okay, so you get the idea. Okay, so what we can do here, we can get everyone to contribute, and we can get people to to type in, to give advice, and then we could ask people perhaps we could send people into breakout rooms, we could get them to discuss. Okay, so thank you very much for doing that. Okay, we're running out of time, so I'm going to go back into my PowerPoint, okay, and finish the presentation. So screen share. Yep, advanced screen share, portion of screen. Just give me a couple of seconds. To get this in the right place. Here we go. All right. So I just want to say what we've been looking at today. So today we've been looking at a lesson from our adult general English program. It's called World English. It is a 4-level, 4-skill program, and it goes from A1 to B1 CEFR level, or CEFR as people call it. So that is for beginner all the way up to intermediate students. World English, as I said, for adult learners. this program really gives adult learners a lot of experience of the world through content and through ideas, and it has National Geographic and also TED Talks, and it gives a lot of motivation to talk about what's important to them. So as you can see from the lesson that we did today, it's highly relevant to our students. It's something that they are going to identify with, something that they're going to enjoy talking about. If you would like to know more about this program, okay, I'm just going to put up my final poll of the day, which says, would you like to know more about the World English Program? So if you are interested to hear a bit more about it, just hit yes, and we will send you some more details, including how to get in touch with us, with one of our sales reps, if you would be interested in buying it to use in your classroom, which I think you would enjoy very much. So yeah, if you hit yes, we will send you some more information. If you hit no, then we will not. So entirely up to you. I'll just leave that running while I finish up the presentation. So earlier, I said at the beginning, I said to you, I am a local in the UK and I am a local in Singapore. I'm just going to spend 2 minutes now to explain why I said that and to illustrate one of the really strong areas of World English as a program. So I mentioned that it uses TED Talks, but as a lot of you will know, okay, TED Talks are an amazing resource, really interesting, fascinating, so much we can learn from them. But when we're talking about low-level students who are A1 or A2, it can be difficult for students to really understand what's happening because often the language is above their level. So I'm just going to show you one of the examples here. And what we've done here is we've actually approached people who have given interesting TED Talks, and we have asked them to re-record, what they said, but in a slightly simplified version. So they're speaking a bit more slowly and they've adapted their language. So it's the same TED Talk redone especially for National Geographic Learning for our students. Okay, so we're going to have a look. So I'm going to play you the TED Talk, and I'd just like you to watch it and just think about what she's saying, and think about whether you think it would be suitable for your pre-intermediate A2 students. So let's watch and see.
People often ask me this question: where are you from? It's a difficult question. Am I from Ghana? My parents live there, but I do not. Am I from the United Kingdom? I was born there, and I have a UK passport, but I didn't live there long. Am I from the US? I lived in Boston for 12 years and New York for 6, and I have an American passport, but I do not live in the US. Am I from Portugal? I live in Lisbon, but I am not Portuguese. So the question, where are you from, is very difficult to answer. Maybe a better question is, where are you a local? It's better because it's about me, a person, and not about a country or a passport. For example, I am a local in Accra, where my parents live. I go there every year with my twin sister, and we spend time with our mother in her garden. I am local in New York, where my best friends live. I visit the city at least twice a year. I am also local in Rome and Berlin, where I lived for 3 years each. I am a local in Lisbon, where I live now. What makes these places local for me? It is the people I love who live there.
Okay, there we go. So I think a nice concept that we're talking about there. Yeah, so just if you could type into the chat box for me, what was, well, firstly, what was her point? What was she talking about? what was the main message of this TED Talk? I can see a lot of you liked it. Super interesting. True. That's a new concept. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, talking about being local someone rather than saying, where are you from? And I think this is something that a lot of people who are perhaps a minority, an ethnic minority living in a different place, this is an issue that they will find all the time, that people will ask where they're from and they say, I'm from, if I said I'm from Singapore, people would tell me you're not from Singapore. Where are you really from? But for me, I've lived here for 13 years, so I feel that I know Singapore. I feel that it's my country. This is where I live. So I think anyone who lives abroad, anyone who is a minority, is something that this will really they will really identify with. And the other thing I want to ask you is the language, the way she was speaking. So this is a TED Talk, but it's for low-level students. So what do you think? Do you think your A2 level students would be able to understand that? Yeah, it's very clear, right? She's speaking very clearly. She's speaking slowly, but not patronizingly, right? She's speaking clearly at a slow pace with language that they will be understand, very articulate, exactly. And this is what World English, we've done with World English. As I said, we've specifically re-recorded TED Talks with these fantastic, amazing people so that our low-level learners can really benefit and really get a lot out of using TED Talks, which are a fantastic resource. So I just wanted to show you that. Okay, great. Let's wrap up. A reminder, we will be sending you a follow-up email tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow. In this email, there will be a link to your certificate, and there will be a link to the recording of this session. Please make sure that you check your junk mail, because quite often people's email is getting filtered into there, right? So tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, you will get an email. In the email, the certificate and the link to the recording. I have run a little bit over time, okay, but I don't know if there's there are no questions in the Q&A box. You can type a question now if you want, okay, but let me just get to the end of my slides. We do have an upcoming webinar. Unfortunately, I don't have the slide. It's not ready yet. But our next webinar is going to be on the 6th of January, and it is our very own Ms. Kitty Jang. And Kitty is going to be doing a session from our Young Learner program, Our World 2nd edition. I'm hoping at the moment, Andrew or Kitty or someone, can you please put in oh, there we go. Kitty's put them in. So Kitty's put the registration links in there. Okay. So that you will be able to register for her sessions on January the 6th on Our World. That's great. Okay. So please sign up. Okay. And come to that exciting session. I'd also like to remind you that we are on Facebook, we're on WeChat, we're on YouTube. Okay, so again, if someone could put our Facebook page into the chat box, that would be lovely. Andrew just put into the chat box, all the registrations and past recordings can be found here on our webinar page. Yeah, can someone put our Facebook page in there as well? Thank you, Rupert, for following us. That's great. Yeah, I recommend you all go to our Facebook page, follow us, okay, like us, and then you will get all information about what's going on, what events we've got upcoming, lots of interesting articles and resources you can use. The Facebook page, okay, I'm gonna find it myself. Okay, I'm just gonna stop sharing for a moment, and I'll go here. Okay, here is our Facebook address. Let me put that into the chat box for you. Here we go. Okay, there we go. That is our Facebook page there. So yeah, you can feel free to go and have a look around. You'll also see the recording to this webinar there. Okay, so I'm not sure if there are any questions because I'm having a look now. I'm assuming that if there were, Andrew and Kitty have answered them because I can't see any in the Q&A box. Yeah, so thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Yeah, Merry Christmas to those of you who celebrate it. Happy New Year, because our next webinar will be after New Year. So yeah, if you celebrate the solar New Year rather than the lunar New Year, January the 1st, then yeah, Happy New Year, and let us all hope that 2021 is going to be a better year for all of us all around the world than this year. So yeah, keep safe and see you next year. Okay, thanks very much for joining us. Okay, goodbye. Happy winter solstice. Okay, all right, I'm going to stop recording.